this Retrogression is my next film project. It's a sci-fi trilogy film with a game tie-in and also some other juicy stuff we can talk about. But with me here, I have Pappy John, who's the Solidity dev. I have, what are you called now, Mudlark? Because you come up as something else on mine.
Just Mud.
Anyway, Mud. We have Mud. Mud's here. He is the back-end business administration and logistics. We have Crypto Graphics, who designs all our websites and graphics. And I'm not sure if Cello's here. He's always missing at this time of day. Cello is our multilingual marketer and will be running the Discord channel and engaging with non-English speaking communities. Apart from those that are here today, we have .crypto, who will be running the major utility that we're launching on launch, which will be a short film streaming platform, which we'll talk about later, no doubt. And then we also have a core team of DApp developers and website developers who are building all our platforms, who are busy at work right now. And then we'll also be announcing our team of play-to-earn game builders and some big partnerships there, which we won't announce today, but we will very shortly. So that's our team. The good thing about it is that a lot of us know each other in real life and have worked with each other in a business capacity. So we're a very solid team with a lot of history of working together. But yeah, if any of the guys on the team want to say anything, great. If not, we'll keep pressing on.
Yeah, I mean, I can introduce myself this time. So my name's John. I just wanted to kind of go over what I do. Like Anthony said, I'm the Solidity developer. I got started in the space about a year ago. I've worked on several larger projects, primarily on the BSC. Most notable ones would be Baby Chimzino. I developed that contract. There would be MetaBet on Ethereum. Currently also have Baby Cats is another contract of mine. But my main priority with working with people is finding people that are trustworthy and honest with good projects, like Anthony here. You know, I get approached all the time for people wanting me to develop contracts for them, but I refuse to do it because I judge people based on their character. So
integrity is everything.
Yes.
Awesome. And what about you, Mud? Would you like to say something?
Yeah, sure. Okay, my name is Ben. I'm Anthony's brother in real life. My background is in brewery logistics mainly, but things like last mile logistics, B2B, software packages, things like that. And then in the last few years, I've been into integrating different programs for big breweries. So Asahi was one of them, Lion, who own loads of little breweries around the world. So yeah, and then so for this project, like I've come on board as, like Anthony said, as business administrator, and sort of just keeping the files in the right place and keeping everybody communicating and yeah. And as far as the project goes, when he first brought it up, I thought the scope of it was like massive, and I couldn't get my head around it. I'm amazed that he was able to do it, because I couldn't sort of keep it in my head how vast his vision was, and it's really impressive, and now it's all come together, and I'm amazed. I'm just really glad to be on board. It's really cool, and it's got a lot of promise.
It must be really amazing watching it all come into fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. But growing up with him, he's always been a go-getter, and when he puts his mind to something, he can do anything really. And I've seen it, multiple times for the last years. So he's he's you're in the right hands. Anyone who wants to get on board can come and join us.
Great. Well, I've been telling so many people about the project, and I'm like, you just have to hear it from Anthony because I can't do it justice. There's just so much to it. And when you hear it, you're going to be like, holy shit, this changes everything. So why don't you just get into it and tell us all about it?
Okay, I'll take a deep breath. 1 second.
All right.
So the token is Retrogression, RTGN. I mentioned briefly that it's based on a series, a trilogy of sci-fi movies that have decentralization themes built into them. The screenplay for the first installment of the film is complete. We've finished that. And we've done a sneak peek on the website, I think last week, and we can open that up again for people to have a little read of what we're doing. And the great thing about this project is that it's engineered from the ground up to incorporate crypto. It's a first of its kind. It's an industry breaker. And what it's doing is turning upside down the way films are put together, the way films are financed, and putting the power and the profit back into the hands of the creators. And so the genesis of the idea for me, having been in the film industry since I was a kid, and being a filmmaker, is that if you make a film, you generally get paid the least, believe it or not. And then you also lose control of your IP because you have to sell the copyright on to everyone. And you also are last in line for any profits for the film. It's just the way that the film industry is set up. It's very similar to the music industry. It's very similar to a lot of art industries, where the creators are the bottom of the pile and they have to go around cap in hand every time they want to do a project and essentially start from scratch. Unless obviously you're Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese, it's a different story. But one of the things about the film industry is that a film needs to make about 5 times its budget back in order for it to be in profit, which is just ludicrous. And that's because there are so many hands in the jar along the way. There are so many fees. There are so many financing fees, banking fees. There are so many distributor costs. There are so many distributor percentages. To give you an example of how a film works in terms of profit, the theater will take 60 cents in every dollar. And then of the 40 cents remaining, the distributor will take another 60% of that. And then that will get handed on to what's called a sales agent, who will then take 30% of that. And then it goes back to the investors of the film, of which they take all of that until they've recouped their money. And then if there's anything left in the film afterwards, then that then goes to the creators. And generally that's nothing. So what I wanted to do is create a revolutionary way of financing and giving the power back to filmmakers. And having been in the industry, it's one of the main gripes that creators have in the space. And you see even Kanye West, coming out, and he's obviously a multimillionaire, but even he suffers the same thing where he creates this art, it's his art, and then he's now trying to find ways to buck the system by bringing out his little device that allows him to distribute his material and own his material and get the profits back himself. So everyone in the creative industry is looking for a model, and they have been for a very long time, for years and years. And this, I believe, is the solution to that model. Film and crypto have not been explored yet. We're on the precipice of a whole new wave of bringing crypto and film together. And I believe we're the pioneers of that. And we're a long way ahead of anyone else who wants to do it, simply because of the fact that it takes 2 years to write a screenplay. This has been engineered for crypto. We're about to launch. I have the contacts through, my history of working in the film industry. And there are films that have tried to dabble in crypto before, which you guys may or may not have heard of. There's one particular instance where the director of Clark's actually recently sold his film as an NFT, the entire film, one copy as an NFT. And along with that was the distribution rights for that film. So whoever bought the NFT essentially owned the worldwide distribution rights to it and could sell that to every territory in the world. And so I think he raised, 15, 20 million on that NFT and sold it. So that's one way that people are looking to do it. And it means that he gets to finance his film and gets to pay himself. And that isn't a film that is designed for crypto specifically. It's just a way of doing it. There are other films I've noticed that do it after the fact. They might make a film and then decide they want to release NFTs, which actually have no intrinsic value because they're actually not tied into the project and they don't have a use case. So we're fixing that as well with our project, and I'll go into that as well. But no one has created a screenplay that incorporates crypto elements. And so the idea behind this was that everything that appears in the film will be replicated in a play-to-earn gaming experience on a platform. So you'll get to live the film in a game. In that game, you will be able to earn our tokens, but you'll also be able to earn rare NFTs, which would either be randomly generated to players or based on time or based on achieving certain goals within the game. And those NFTs have a use case because if one of those NFTs lands in your wallet on the blockchain, then that is a key that unlocks another level of the game that only you can play because you have the key. And then once you've played that game, then on the secondary market, you can then go and resell that NFT and make some money out of it to other gamers who might want to access those other levels. So that's also something that's never been done before in the game space, and we're really excited about that. It creates a secondary market, but it also means that the NFT has a use case. It's not just a drawing of a gorilla that really will have its hype day and then fade away. So that's one use case of the NFTs.
Is there only a set amount of those keys, like a limited amount?
That's right. They'll be rare, and so there'll only be a limited amount, and so the intrinsic value of those will increase because in order for people to access those levels of the game, they will need to get that. So, and obviously there will be other levels, and we don't know the exact amount that it'll be now. That'll be based on our user base and how many people are playing the game, and obviously be adjusted as we go through to service the community. Other NFTs, because this is a film and a game, we're using the Unreal Engine, which I'm not sure if you guys know about, which is wicked special effects and gaming utility for building those things. And we will be working with a company that we'll announce the partnership with soon, who are in the crypto gaming space. They're a really big player, and they have subsidiary companies that do film effects on Unreal Engine as well as gaming effects on gaming creation on Unreal Engine. And so we'll be creating NFTs based on the assets that we create for both the film and the game. And so those NFTs will appear in both the film and the game as well, which will bring the value up. And that could be anything from characters to settings to props to things that are inside both those things. So that's another use case. I think what I should do is probably give you a synopsis of what the film is about, because then it might lay the context for all this stuff and you'll have a better understanding. So I'll jump into that quickly. So Retrogression is set 250 years after the Great Climate Wars, and it is a world where the seas have risen due to global warming, and there are a series of floating metropolises which have been built by man, which are incredibly green. They've been constructed from revolutionary new materials that are better for the environment and basically purpose-built. And so people are living on top of the water now. The lead character is called Ben Hammond, and he's a computer programmer, and he's devised a system and in the future, everyone, instead of having an iPhone, you have it embedded in your wrist. And he invents a system where you can track people's carbon emissions based on the Palm Pilot that is embedded in their wrist, and allocate them a currency based on their carbon footprint. So the more green you are, the more money you earn. And this currency within the film is called RTGN, which ties into obviously the project. And so the New World Order has gotten rid of all other currencies, and it's just surviving on the RTGN currency. So he invents that system, and then there is a terrorist attack on a military base on another floating city, and he's called out there to fix the system and to fix the hardware. And because the person has been murdered by terrorists who was in charge of it before. When he gets there, he realizes all is not what it seems, and that they have repurposed his technology on these other islands to control people and create a slave trade. And so essentially there are these silver floating orbs, which are the military and the police force that are patrolling these other cities. And these cities are slum cities. They're not as beautiful as the one he comes from. And he realizes that they are using his device to dictate where people go, when they go, and they have a thing called a regulated everyday practice, which is a path that they have to go down every single day of their life, exactly the same. And these people are working in sand dredging fields, because obviously soil is a huge commodity in a world that's covered with water. And also in sweatshop factories that are creating green products such as 5-star energy rated washing machines and toasters and dryers and appliances. And so in this world, we are incentifying people and giving them RTGN tokens based on consuming these goods. And so essentially what the film breaks down is the repackaging of consumerism and the repackaging of targeted capitalism, and using people as a slave trade. And it talks about the themes of greenwashing, which is something that you may or may not have heard of. And that is where companies are able to get essentially the tick of approval for being carbon neutral or green, and using sustainable products or building sustainable cities, or using solar energy and such. But that space is unregulated, and so anyone who has a company that want to appeal to a new demographic of consumers can get this tick of approval, but they can handpick the company that gives them that tick of approval. And there are different guidelines depending on which company you go to. So you can find the one that best suits your company and gives you the tick of approval. So it's a system that we're living in right now, and that's what sci-fi is about. It's about looking at where we are and then projecting into the future of where that may go. And so it's a warning that, while we have to be green and we have to look after the environment and look after our future, we also need to make sure that we're not just being blind consumers and purchasing new products instead of fixing the ones we have, that we are actually truly green, and then we're not just relying on marketing campaigns that tell us that something is green. Otherwise, it's just capitalism repackaged in another way, and we become the slaves to the system. So he finds out that they're using his system to enslave people, and then he joins up with the people who were the so-called terrorists at the beginning, realizing that they're actually freedom fighters, and then has to bring down the system that he created and take on the military and the government and the system, and liberate mankind. And that's the first film which is written in the trilogy. And inside that script, there are crypto tie-ins everywhere. So the organization that runs the world are called the Chads. There are characters that play a game, for instance, a virtual horse racing game, which then we can have a mini game within our main experiential game that is a virtual horse racing game, which you can earn tokens for. And then there are things like in the future, there's a NBA basketball league, and there are no longer any athletes. It's all digitally They're all digital athletes, and then we will have a mini game, basketball game inside our bigger game, where there will be NFTs based on the players that are the same as having your standard collector cards and things like that. But you'll also be able to experience it. So there's things peppered all the way through the screenplay that we're able to exploit in the crypto space and bring a whole new set of eyes and a whole new set of investors from the film world into the crypto space. And so
Very
one of our
cool.
that's the long-term goal. Obviously there's probably people sitting here thinking, well, a film takes a long time, and it does. And so the way we're putting this project together is that there is a 14% buy-sell tax on this project, and those taxes go towards financing the film and the game and another utility, which I'll mention in a minute. And we're bringing 40% of the budget of the film to the table, and the taxes will raise the rest of the film, and also we'll be able to support that as well we've got a couple of supply pots there that are in the tokenomics, one for gaming, one for marketing, and I believe one for the film as well, which we can then also carefully sell off incrementally if we need to top up those the budget of those films and gaming projects. So one of the other things worth mentioning, I think, is that there's a launch platform that we are launching on launch, and we wanted to make sure that we had a utility ready for launch, because a lot of projects don't have them. They promise them and then they don't deliver, or they don't know how to deliver. So we've been busy working for a while now on our first utility, and it's a streaming platform called the Retrogression Film Crib. It's
This is my favorite part.
It's film related and it's crypto related, and we are launching that. It's essentially a streaming service where emerging filmmakers get to upload their short films to this platform, and they can earn the RTGN token for streams. It's a streaming service. And so another part of that, which we're going to do after launch, is that if you register as a viewer on the platform, that you can also earn tokens for engaging with these films and watching them. So what we're creating is a hub that supports themselves.
A watch to earn, basically.
A watch to earn. Yeah, a watch to earn.
Oh wow! I didn't mention that last time. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, it's about these utilities are about engagement, and obviously the community always wants something back, and we understand that, and we will have to engineer it and kind of see how the platform is going and see what our total supply is and see how many tokens are flying out the door and manage that accordingly. But the main thing about a utility is that you've got users that are using it, otherwise it's pointless. There's no point building one if no one wants it. And to encourage people to engage with those films, we want to incentivize them. And obviously, the more engagement we have, the more people that view them, and the more filmmakers then want to upload them. And then we'll also be selling advertising space where crypto projects can put their 10 to 15 second videos, which most of them have, which will stream like it does on YouTube as an ad before the short film plays. And so the advertising revenue from those ads would then go into buying back our token, which would support the chart and help a healthy chart, and then distributed amongst the people who are watching it and the filmmakers. So it was important to also come up with a model that could support itself, so they were not just pulling on the total supply of the token. It's got to be a model that actually is cyclical and that feeds itself, and that this platform is able to function without sucking every element of the rest of the project dry. So we believe that's a really smart model moving forward. And so to launch that platform, we're also having the inaugural Retrogression Film Festival, and that festival will have prize money in RTGN token. Now, people, when they go into the crib, they're going to have to add their Ethereum wallet. And so what we're doing is we're bringing filmmakers to crypto, and we're teaching them about crypto. We're essentially, in order to put their film on the platform, they have to have an ERC20 wallet. And a lot of filmmakers in the film industry have no idea what crypto is about. And so we're able to help them, and we have, with all the people that have entered into the film festival, help them, create their first wallet and help them engage with the crypto community. And so one of the biggest questions people have is, how do you engage people outside of
get that new blood in?
Get that new blood in. And so this is where the vision to bring film and crypto together is revolutionary, and we think we can do it. Apart from the eyes that'll be on the film, and we'll come to it because it's got the RTGN token in it, and that's branding that a crypto token can't buy. I mean, if you wanted to put product placement for your token in a worldwide feature film, it cost you millions of dollars. So,
right.
It's essentially, it's a marketing platform as well for the token, just by virtue of having the film out there with all these tie-ins. And so to launch the festival, at the moment we have, I believe, 3 or 4 Oscar nominated short films. We've got some Cannes Palme d'Or nominated short films. We have BAFTA nominated short films. We have Tribeca winning short films. We have Berlin Bear, Crystal Bear winning short films. So we've actually curated a really amazing bunch of shorts for this festival, and one of them there'll be an award given out that is judged by us, the RTGN team, but then one of the other awards will be community given. And so you'll be on the platform after you register, you'll be able to vote for your film and give it that you like, and give it a thumbs up, and then we'll award a prize for the community voted best film, which will then get prize money in RTGN token as well. Yeah, that's exciting for us, and it's a not only a way to bring people in, but it's a fantastic utility, and the thing about that utility is we've got ideas that we can implement later on. For instance, we are considering a gaming hub where people can live stream their gaming, because I know that's a popular thing, and we can host that. We're building the utility up front with the capability to live stream that's already built in. It won't be live when we do it, but we also see opportunities to invite filmmakers onto the platform, established filmmakers that have made feature films and that are world renowned, and do live Q&A streams on the website where we present their first short film they ever made, and we talk about how they went from making a short film and how they got it made, and their career from making a short to being a successful director around the world. And so, not only does that engage the crypto community, but that's something that the film community, emerging filmmakers, will be really into. And so once again, that's another way to bring new eyes to crypto, and particularly to our project. And if you're advertising on our site, then new eyes to your project as well.
Absolutely. And then last time you mentioned how you're going to look for filmmakers all over the world as well, to tie in communities from all over the world.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I believe in our festival we have films from Argentina, Kenya, America, the Middle East, Australia, the UK. So even the selection of films that we've got in there, I think Hungary, Eastern Europe. So the curated festival already is worldwide, and we're deliberately engineering it that way to bring those eyes to it, because obviously filmmakers in different countries have their own communities that they will then invite to watch. And the idea, obviously, for that is that the more people that they drag in of their own communities to watch their film on our platform, the more tokens they earn as well. And it's worth mentioning too that, one of the questions someone said in an AMA is, what if the filmmakers all come in and they just dump the tokens when they get it? So we've built in a mechanism in the site that we don't airdrop every hour or every time there's a view. we have a claim button that for the filmmakers on the website, so they will be able to claim the tokens every month. And we will know when that claim button is going live. So we will be standing by in order to do a buyback on the chart to make sure that any filmmakers that are selling their tokens isn't going to affect the chart too much. So that's a safety mechanism we've built in there. And obviously, if the chart is healthy and the value of our RTGN token is increasing, then the filmmakers are more likely to hold on to those tokens anyway. But it should bring in a lot as the site builds. It should bring in a lot more holders of the token as well, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. I just love how this could be tied into so many different types of arts. Even with authors and music, like you said. So
Absolutely.
many people do not have control over their creations, and this could revolutionize an entire industry.
Yeah, that's right. And we hope that when we support these young filmmakers on their filmmaking journey, that the eventual idea after we've done the 3 films is to open up this as essentially a crypto mini movie studio and a DAO studio. So the community we'll bring them projects and we'll bring them screenplays and teams, and they will be able to vote on which films they think we should allocate the finance to next. And rather than us just handing over a bunch of cash to random filmmakers, they'll be heavily vetted by our filmmaking team behind the scenes, and we will be producing the films for them, which means that we will be controlling the money that is spent on those films and allocating budgets according to what they need, stringent budgets, which obviously I'm used to with the films I've made. And so, there's the idea is to make a studio of all sorts of films. It could be a $1 million horror movie. It could be another sci-fi film. It could be a drama, and we will show the screenplays and pitch videos to the community, and they can vote on which ones we make. And then obviously that then opens up the streaming platform to then become a streamer. A major player in the indie space where we finance these films, and then we have a slate of films that are available on our streaming site, feature films, that we then can charge money as you do on Apple, the $6.99 rental for people to watch on our streaming platform. And then, of course, that revenue then goes back into buying back the token, and we can distribute those tokens to the community. One of the other things about the film that's worth mentioning, and it's more long-term, is that we're going to put a percentage of the profits of the movie and use them as buybacks. So if the film was to make $10 million in profit, we can grab millions of dollars and then buy back the token to support the chart, and then distribute those tokens amongst the community. And that'll be a tiered system. So those who have been in the private sale, those who are going to jump into the pre-sale, which is going to be, we think, around the 8th of March on Unicrypt, those who buy into that will be in a more beneficial position and will be allocated more profit and more tokens from that. And then those outside of that who are diamond holders, who are holding a certain amount of tokens or for a certain amount of time or have never sold, will also be incentivized as well. So, we're introducing these mechanisms to get people to hold their tokens, to buy in, to support the chart, and then the rewards will come. And the beauty of the way we finance this film is that it's in profit from the first dollar, because we financed it through the taxes. The 40% that we're bringing to the table is also a government initiative in Australia, where I'm from, and we qualify for that already. And so it's essentially a government grant of 40% of your film budget that is non-recoupable and doesn't have to be paid back. So we'll be in a position of profit instantly. And so those profits that do come from the film, from exploiting the film around the world, will be genuine profits, and everyone in the community will benefit from that.
Also, you mentioned it would be millions of dollars to advertise a token in a film. So potentially you could actually charge somebody millions of dollars to advertise their token in a film.
Absolutely. We could do that if there was a big token that wanted to do it. I mean, there's product placement in films anyway. So depending on the
Right.
film and the content on the film, you know, Pepsi can be in films, Apple can be in
I was
films.
just thinking that.
Absolutely, and
Exactly.
that is worth mentioning, because if your film's in profit, then that is another revenue stream that a film can creatively gain revenue from, which of course then feeds back into the community. So there are to be in a position with a film where you don't need to get 5 times the budget of the film in order to get money back is just extraordinary. And it's extraordinary for the filmmakers, but it's also extraordinary for the community, which is great. And what we hope to do then is that, you know, if this works, and when it works, it's going to revolutionize the film industry, and everyone's going to be looking to do it, and we're going to be the pioneers of that.
Absolutely. Yep. Art without all the politics and bureaucrats. I mean,
Exactly.
it's ideal.
Absolutely.
So, of course, I know there is a private sale. A lot of us know there's a private sale. Tell us a little bit about the private sale tokens and the vesting and things of that nature.
Yeah, sure. So the private sale is capped at 100 ETH. It's full. And that has gone into building the utilities. There's also, I should mention, there's also going to be we're building a D app, which is a staking utility. And essentially that'll be a staking lottery where you will stake, and it'll be on a revolving 7-day cycle, so that anyone who takes their money out of the staking will be taxed 20%. And then that 20% will be given out as a lottery to, you know, 5 people in that lottery each week that have continued to stake. If the community doesn't like that approach, then we can open it up so that it's not a lottery, and that those tokens are distributed to everyone according to how much they stake. That's something that we're open to discussing with the community and getting their thoughts on. So there will be a staking utility, and that's been built. I've sidetracked. So what was that question there? Because that was good.
Well, actually, we can go back to it. When will the staking be available? I love staking my tokens. So,
Sure. We're not sure exactly. We're still building it. Our focus at the moment is on the streaming utility, and obviously we don't want to dump all our utilities at once because it's not healthy for the project. So we do need to dangle a few carrots.
Absolutely.
Along the way, particularly because the gaming aspect in the film is long term, and we should have the good thing about the gaming and the film stuff is, as soon as we launch this token, then we start to engage with building these Unreal Engine assets. Then we're going to create an NFT store on the site, because everything from concept art, and that is going to eventually appear in the film, to little bits of clips of CGI, to characters, to all that kind of stuff is going to be available as NFTs as well. So that will keep the community engaged as well, and be a utility that is rolling out continually.
And will those NFTs be usable in the game once the game is launched, or are these going to be completely separate?
They'll be both. So there will be just art utilities, but then there will also be utilities that'll have a practical use further down the track. So
will there be any type of royalties if you were to say sell your NFTs or anything like that, like once you own it?
Yeah, so there will be a royalty that we will hold on to, which will be a 5 or 10% royalty in perpetuity. So every time it's sold on, that'll come back to the project, which again enables us to do buybacks on the charts and develop utilities. But people will be free to on-sell that themselves and make profit, just like you would with other NFTs. So it will create a secondary market, essentially, that everyone can benefit from. And so that, yeah, going back to the private sale, just while I remember it.
Yeah, I got you sidetracked. So we were talking about vesting.
I'm a bit like that.
On private sale, and then vesting on pre-sale, and then we can go into vesting of team tokens as well. So let's just talk about all the vesting.
Yeah, sure. So the vesting in the private and the pre-sale is identical. It is 15% on launch, 21.5% every 4 weeks until it's paid out. It's quite heavily vested, and that's to support the chart. We don't want private sailors or pre-sailors dumping on new community members. That's really important. Your 15%, if this launches well, should be enough to take the money out that you put in pretty quickly, and let the rest ride, which I think is really healthy. And there's the only advantage to the private sale is that they will be up, I think, 10% on the pre-sailers. There's a tiered system there, so they'll get a few more tokens for coming in earlier. And yeah, so that's the vesting schedule. And then the team vesting schedule is even stricter than that. So I believe, and I'm not looking at my tokenomics, but I believe our team vesting schedule, we own
I think I have
14.
it in front of me.
Oh, great.
14% total supply vesting schedule unlocks after 12 months as follows. 3%
That's right,
in
yeah.
June, October 2022, 1.5 in November, December 2022, 4% in
That's
January,
right.
February of 23, and then 1% in March of September 23.
That's right. So it's very heavily vested, and it's carefully released so that if we need to do a buyback or we need more money for utilities or whatever it is, that we're able to access some tokens. And of course, we're not going to dump them. It's not in our interest, so they'll be carefully sold. And they're really heavily vested. It's over 12 months. I think for the first, 4 or 5 months, it's only 1% a month of that, and it's a 14% total. So, we're not interested in making a quick buck on this. There's too many big ideas in this, and we're here to stay. So, you can be assured that it's not a pump and dump token, and that's not where our interests lie at all.
Doesn't sound like it whatsoever. So, last time I didn't really give Pappy a time to shine, so let's ask Pappy some questions, if that's cool.
Yeah, let's ask Pappy. I love Pappy. He's awesome.
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
All right, so, and then it looks like Leo has a question, so we'll get to you next, Leo. So we'll start with, is there is there a maximum buy or a maximum wallet upon launch?
So yeah, on launch we will have a max wallet of 0.25%.
Okay.
But that can be lifted later.
Okay.
Sorry, that's a minimum wallet, isn't it, Pappy? 0.2. Max wallet.
I'm sorry. Max minimum wallet, minimum max wallet. So hold on, let me look at the code here.
Right.
No. We have a 5 million token max wallet on launch. So you can't hold more than what Anthony's alluding to is that we've programmed safeguards into the contract that prevent us from lowering the max wallet, max buy, max sell below a certain percent. So we can never, bring it down to honeypot the project. And then we can never increase taxes beyond a certain percent as well. So these are all locked in, pre-programmed, already on chain things that just prevent us from being able to make those kind of changes that worry people. We can never disable trading, anything like that. We've done a lot to de-risk the contract, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, on launch, there will be a max wallet of 5 million tokens, and then there will be a max buy, max sell of 2.5 million tokens. So 0.5% and 2.25%.
Now, as far as bot protection, bots are very sophisticated nowadays. Did you build in some smart measures?
Yeah, so what we have is a method of taxing bots on entry. So we do run a high tax initially on launch, and
for the first how many blocks?
So that's to be determined. Yeah, we don't want to release all that information yet, but that'll be determined by Anthony at the time. And then essentially what we'll do in that case is, if someone buys during that time, they do get marked as a bot. We have the ability to find and mark bots in the future as well, but there's no blacklist function in the contract that prevents people from buying or selling. What our blacklist function does is taxes everyone 99% on a buy. So they're unable to
What would
affect
you
the
do
chart
with
in the
that
future.
99% that you basically confiscate?
Yeah, those 99% of tokens, they go into the contract, and then the contract takes those tokens and sells them to convert to Ethereum and distributes that to the team wallets for game development, film development, and then we also have a portion that goes to the film crib as tokens.
Okay.
That will be sent out directly as tokens to the film crib for rewards on that front.
Okay. Awesome. So
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about your previous projects. Do you want to go into those a little bit more?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
did
sure.
they
So
go? Like, were you a part of the core team? Did you deploy the contract yourself?
okay. Yeah, no problem. So starting off, in the BSC space, there were so many scammers that I wanted to like find something that wasn't scammy, and basically I decided to learn how to code Solidity, and I've been working up and improving my skills. And the first large launch that I had was Baby Chimzinu. It was a large success. That one was not deployed by me. I simply helped write the contract for the developer of that project. He deployed it himself, and he managed it. I just gave him the contract, and then that was my part done. The next one, the big Ethereum one that I've done is MetaBet, and that one I did write the contract and deploy it myself.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we know that project as we mentioned last time.
Yeah. So that's a good Ethereum play that we have, and it's been pretty successful, and it's still an ongoing project, definitely. And then currently, I also have a project on BSC that I wrote and deployed called Baby Cat Coin.
Yeah, we all know Baby Cat.
Yeah, we're everywhere. So that's another one that I have written and deployed as well.
Okay. Awesome. So
yeah,
Pappy,
as far as core team, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're right. I was going to say, do you want to talk about the multi-sig as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll take ownership of this contract. So I have deployed this contract, and then I will get the pre-sale and everything set up. The token vesting will be set up with Anthony and everything, and then ownership will be transferred to a multi-sig wallet, so that any transactions that are enabled on the contract can only be triggered by Anthony. So it'll all come down to his approval on when the transactions fire.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello? Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Looks like we have a lot of questions. All right, one at a time, guys. We have a lot of people with their hands up.
This is my question.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I speak?
Yeah, speak.
Yes. My question is, how old is your project? What are the major plans ahead? Could you show to use image or your roadmap?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the immediate plans. So we're launching in a couple of weeks. So the project isn't old; it's not launched yet. The utilities on launch are going to be the streaming platform shortly after the D app, and then long term roadmap will be the building the experiential game. Got a lot of feedback here for some reason.
Right. I don't know who that's coming from.
I have a question, sir.
Go, Cooper.
Okay, good.
I want to ask if I want to watch a film festival on your platform, is there a fee, and are there any special event for streaming viewers? Thank you.
Could you repeat that? Sorry.
If I want to watch a film festival on your platform, is there a fee, and are there any special event for streaming viewers? Thank you.
So there's no fee to watch on the platform at all. You can register on the platform if you like, because eventually we'll be mailing out to those people that are registered about earning tokens to watch, but certainly if you don't want to register, you don't have to, but the platform is open to everyone. And part of that reason is we don't want to just engage crypto community and people who have wallets to start with. The more eyes that are on the platform, the better, even outside of crypto, for a lot of reasons. And so it's completely free to use the platform. Absolutely.
Okay. So Leo, and then Sean, and then Toto, and then Battle Leader. We're going to go in that order because I believe that was the order that hands were raised. All right. So Leo.
Hi, thanks.
You're welcome.
Actually, I haven't made like this idea, but I will ask this if you already have to. Are you planning to transform small parts of your movies like GIFs into GIFs and sell them in your marketplace as NFTs? Like we have a lot of movies where we have some kind of parts, they are very remarkable. So are you planning to transform them into NFTs and try to sell them as NFTs?
Absolutely. We're gonna launch our own NFT platform on our website, and they will be anything from concept art to finished parts of the movie to NFT collector cards of the basketball players. They're NFT horses that are in the horse racing game. We plan to really heavily exploit the NFT side of things and start that process quite early on, and keep building all the way through the project. So there'll definitely be a very large NFT presence on this project.
Okay, and about the fees, like when we mint NFTs, we can keep with the transaction fees if you try to sell them. Are you planning to keep with them, or it will keep with the people that mint the NFTs?
You mean the ownership, or?
Yes, and when you mint NFTs and you sell to them, you can keep with some kind of transaction, a small transaction fees.
Yes, that's right. We will always have I call it a royalty, but have a 5 or 10% royalty on it, which obviously we will continue to collect every time it's sold on in perpetuity on the blockchain. And that is another revenue source for us to then put into the gaming and film pot, or to distribute those tokens as buybacks or through the film streaming crib. So most certainly, we see that as another revenue stream as well to support the project.
Thanks very much, and thank you very much, Joanna.
You're welcome.
No problem.
Okay, I know Sean was next. Okay, Sean, you're unmuted.
Hey, what's up? I'm
Hey,
in
how are you?
hey, I'm in software development for more than 15 years actually, and I'm also acquainted with Solidity. And my first question is actually, you are releasing a use utility like a DAO and a governance token, I think, on Ethereum. Aren't you worried about, and also a play to earn game? Aren't you worried about the gas fees?
Yeah, we considered going on BSC, and we were about to do that, and I just looked around at the market, and it's just so volatile at the moment. I see a lot of good projects with good promise and actual utilities failing, and I think the space at the moment, at the time that we're launching, just isn't a safe place to launch a project this big. And so I'm aware that gas fees essentially cut out a lot of investors, but it does bring us a different kind of investor, and investors, I think, that need to actually hold longer in order to take their profit because of those gas fees. So the gas fees actually offer a surety to us in terms of the health of the chart, rather than BSC. And then we're looking at ways that in the future that we can bridge to other platforms, and we're actually in discussion with one of our partners who's in the crypto gaming space, about a bridge to another blockchain. And so, the doors for that are always open for us. But we thought that with the volatile market as it is now, that ETH was just the better play at the moment.
Okay, and because there are also other because I think BSC is I think that those are the investors you want are not on BSC. I'm very convinced about that, but there are more EVM compatible platforms like blockchains like AVAX or Crow that will take the market by storm in 2022, 2023. So if you have a long-term project, just consider that. I realize, of course, that on Ethereum, actually, most liquidity is on the most whales are there. So it will be, I agree with you. Ethereum, if you are going to build a serious platform, you should do it on probably most likely you will do it on Ethereum. I understand that. The other thing is that your roadmap is really, really, really huge. I mean, your utility is huge. It is probably that will the development cost. I think it will go into millions actually. Do you have some proper project management team behind it? Are you going to who is going to execute actually on the real utility and that kind of stuff?
Really good question. So we have a team that is building the utility, and they specialize in building utilities, in particular streaming platforms. So we've engaged with them. They have launched a few platforms that are streamers, that was actually live streaming. And so we get a lot of our advice and knowledge from them about the costings of it, but also about how we can engineer the platform so that we're not, it's not too top heavy for the rest of the project. So this is where, additional things like advertising revenue come into play as well, so that we can use that advertising revenue so that the platform is self-sufficient and isn't a drain on the other projects. Because it's a great question, because it was actually my first question to them was, I don't want to be robbing from Peter to give to Paul and then not being able to execute all the projects that we have on this. In terms of the gaming side, gaming is obviously an expensive thing, which is why we're going into a partnership with the gaming, and we'll be announcing that as soon as the contracts are done on that. But we've been in deep discussions with that for a good three months now, and so they're a really big player in the space, and the platform that we will be launching on, if this all goes through, will be a platform that is hosted by them. And so a lot of the costs associated with building your own gaming platform will not be on us, and we will have our own world within that platform. So there are ways that we're looking at partnerships to take the onus off us having to pay for everything. And there are a lot of creative ways that you can do partnerships to share the load, where it's good for them because they get the content, and it's good for us because they take up the slack of some of the budget. So it's a really good question. And, coming from a film background where I've, produced films, where I've handled, films that have $10 million, $12 million budgets, it's very similar in that there are so many working pieces that you need to bring together. There are so many people that you need to bring to a project. You need to bring in people you can trust. You need to execute on time and on budget. You just simply can't go over budget. You simply can't go over time. And, if anything, film is probably one of the most notoriously stressful environments, as much as fun as it looks, in terms of budgeting and in terms of executing on time. So that's my background as well. I'm used to bringing together literally 200 people who all have an individual job to do, and there's an individual allocation of money that is given to these people, and working out ways that you can get the vision that you want on the screen for the most cost-effective way. That's what, that's essentially what film is about. People are always squeezing you for money. Your budget's never enough, but you still have to work out a way to achieve it. So I think that's actually one of my strengths, to be honest. And it's always an organic process, but dealing with budgets and dealing with partnerships and dealing with the right people and making those decisions that benefit the project financially is absolutely key to the success, particularly of a multi-utility project.
Okay, thanks for elaborating that. And then finally, I have another question to Dev Peppy. Could you tell me how much ETH will go to the liquidity pool, and how much percent of the total supply will go to the liquidity, and how much and what the hard cap was of the private sale?
We're actually holding the pre-sale on the Unicor platform, and our hard cap will be 200 ETH, and 100% of that will be going to the liquidity pool.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be paired with 30% of the total supply of tokens. We did distribute, or we did hold 2 rounds of private sales, and that was used to pay for marketing as well as utility.
Okay.
And those in total are roughly 15% of total supply between those two pools. And then our entire token allocation is also available on the website. We have the team allocation, allocation of tokens for the game wallet, marketing wallet, film crib, centralized exchanges. So we do have a number of those, but yes, the hard cap's going to be 200 Ethereum.
Okay, and I saw also in your tokenomics that you that there is no percentage going to liquidity. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So the liquidity is going to be added directly through the automated market maker pairs on Uniswap.
Yeah.
So it's not as necessary to have a auto liquidity token on Ethereum as it is on a platform like BSC. Because a percentage of every transaction is already distributed towards the liquidity pool.
Yeah. Are you not worried that you will be under liquefied?
No. That shouldn't be an issue with us with such a strong starting liquidity pool. I don't think we'll have a problem with being under liquefied, especially with a 0.3% of every transaction going to liquidity already. With auto liquidity, we're pairing Ethereum with native tokens to create new liquidity tokens.
Okay.
So it just expands the liquidity pool if we were to do that system, and that just increases gas fees for people using our contract or interacting with our contract.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an unnecessary thing that we can always use tokens to pair with liquidity in the future if we have to. We'll have the ability to have those tokens, and we'll have the Ethereum. So we can, if we need to increase our liquidity pool, we can do that in the future. But doing it automatically through the contract was something that we had spoken about and decided to not go with.
Okay, and one final question: where the pre-sale will be held? Which launchpad?
The pre-sale is going to be held on Unicrypt, I believe. Is that correct, Anthony?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're actually talking about a partnership with them at the moment, that we would, rather than just launch, that it would be a partnership with Unicrypt, which has a lot of additional benefits and cost-saving measures. And I think you could probably speak more to what those are, Pappy, but also, we get a lot more out of marketing for them for the launch and a lot more support, which we'd be happy about. So, we've got an agreement with them in principle. It's just about working out a few finer details and combing through things, but we're pretty sure that that's going to eventuate. If not, it will just be a standard launch on Unicrypt.
Yeah, because the one of the downsides of Unicrypt is that you have to hold their tokens, I believe, but I'm not sure about that.
No, you don't. Unicrypt has a round of 0. where
Mhm.
if you hold a certain number of Unicrypt tokens, then you get an earlier entry into the pre-sale. But that's typically only for about a 2-hour period before it opens up to then the whitelisted participants, and then after the whitelist, it would open up to the public if there's still room to be filled.
And one of the other reasons we wanted to go with Unicrypt versus Pink Sale is that obviously these platforms ask for a percentage of total supply as well. And Pink Sale are notorious for dumping on your chart pretty much straight away and causing problems on launch. Whereas we've made an agreement with Unicrypt that their token supply are really heavily vested. They're vested even more heavily than the private and the pre-sale. So that was one of the other things that we wanted to safeguard the project and make sure we went with a platform that wasn't going to, start off on the wrong foot for their own benefit.
And are the pre-sale tokens also vested with the same in the same vesting schedule?
Yeah, they are. Pre-sale and private are vested identically. So it's 15% on launch, 21.25% every 4 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Actually, before you sign anything with Unicrypt, I have somebody I want to introduce you to because I think you could have an awesome partnership with them. So pause on that and let me introduce you to somebody before you make a final decision. Did you have any more questions, Sean?
No, I'm fine. Good luck with your project. Sounds good.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Sean.
And look at Pappy in the spotlight tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Good questions.
All right. I think Toto was next, and then we have Toro. So let me unmute Toto. Okay. Hey, Toto, how are you?
Good. Good day, actually.
Good.
Greetings, Jonah.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, with respect to Leo's question the other time, you said there are going to be bulks of NFT. Can I ask what's the total supply of NFT?
What are the two types of NFT?
Total supply of the NFT?
Yeah, so there'll be utility NFTs which will operate in the gaming experience, which will unlock different levels of the game. And then there will be art-based and concept-based NFTs. And then there will be NFTs that will appear in the eventual film as well as with the basketball mini game. There'll be NFTs that you can earn player collector cards as well. So there's a whole way that we can exploit the NFT.
Okay, as long as I know, it's difficult to maintain liquidity for NFTs as users don't usually trade them in pairs. And then I don't know how you plan to solve that because it's difficult to liquidate an NFT if there are bulks of NFT.
Yeah, that's something that I'll have to look into, to be honest. The NFTs are obviously further down the track, and I'd rather not answer that without having the full knowledge of it. But thanks for bringing that to our attention.
All right.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, do you have any more questions, Toto?
Yes.
Toreo?
Yes.
Questions?
Can I speak?
Yes.
Yes, miss. This is my question. I'm sure you're aware strong backing and partnership in the crypto market and be extremely beneficial to your project. Can you tell us about your project, investor and partners at this point? What advantage do you anticipate for the ecosystem? And who just are the founders of your project that we can find out about? Thank you so much.
Thank you. To try and break it down, the other founders of the project, we're the core team that are on here now. I'm the CEO and it's my creation. There are obviously teams that are working on specific utilities like gaming and film that we will bring to the table, but we're the core team here. Pappy's on board for long term rather than just deploying and disappearing, which we're really stoked about. Another part of your question, I can't remember the first part.
Partnerships? Was it long-term
Partnerships.
partnerships?
Yeah, so we're going to announce the long-term partnership soon. We don't, I mean, one of the things that we don't want to do is make announcements or promises before they have been solidified. We're just not that sort of project. So I know that people are hungry for information because it is a deciding factor on whether they invest. But we would rather protect our partnerships and our integrity and only announce when things are real. And that way, you know, in the long term, you know, we're a project that you can trust, that aren't going to make promises and not deliver. So I won't announce any partnerships today, but they are in the works, and we're constantly looking to create these partnerships, but we won't be announcing them until contracts are signed. Yeah, that's the way we're going to go with that.
Did that sufficiently answer your question? Or was there more to it? Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Don't be shy. Now is the time. All right, not at this time. Well, we covered a lot of information. Is there anything that we really didn't go over?
I think we've covered most things, actually. I feel like this has been a really thorough AMA, which I'm happy about. You know, Joanna will obviously put the link to our socials on the channel, so anyone who's listening can jump in and get updated information as it comes. But launch is looking good. Utilities are looking good. We'll launch when they're ready. We'll have something for you, and we're really excited. So, you know, we're only as good as our community, so we hope you join so we can build something really special together.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's really excited for, you know, to be able to stream and the film crib. I've been getting DMs nonstop about that, and seems like
that's
everybody's
great.
really, really looking forward to that. So that's really fascinating.
Fantastic.
Oh, we didn't get into, you know, we have, you know, members from all over the world, and that's why, unfortunately, we normally hold our AMAs in the morning, like for me, EST time, and we have
Yes.
about triple the amount of people. But most
Yeah.
of our members are asleep, and it's really late for them. So I apologize about that, but that's why we record it. So you have someone on your team that speaks, what, 9 languages, you said?
Yeah, I think it's 9 languages.
Yeah.
Cello Crypto speaks 9 languages.
That's one of the number one questions that gets asked is, how are you going to get, you know, non-English speaking communities on board? And the fact that you have someone that speaks 9 languages, I mean, that's just like awesome.
Yeah, it's really very helpful, and you know, he's going to be stepping up that process. He's running the Discord. He's doing marketing for us as well, and he's also got his own channels that are in different languages. So, you know, he's brought investors to the table for private and a lot of people to the channels. So we will build those out as we need and find good partners to partner with that can replicate our channel in different languages. And then also, as we mentioned earlier, the film cribs are not going to be just English-speaking films. So we hope to attract people from different parts of the world with that as well.
That's great. And like I said last time, I think it's awesome how you didn't just automatically kind of throw your name out there and, you know, you kept it a secret. You let your project build merit. You let people get excited about it. And then you said who you were, which, you know, so many projects that I'm in right now, they're just like, oh, this is such and such professional sports players project, or this is, you know, this pro
Yeah,
blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And it's just so much
I know.
based on the name of that person. Well, if the project doesn't have merit, where is the project going to go?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things we discussed really early on, is that it wasn't about me. It was about our utility. It was about our project. It was about the vision for the project. And then obviously the community is always going to be hungry for a doxing. And so we knew it was eventually going to happen. And, I got inundated over the last month with people. I've been dropping hints around the place on my verified Twitter and certain things. And a lot of people know who I am. Some still don't. I'll video docs when we launch, which is all cool. But I think, one of the great things about this, I mean, you do see projects that have this sports star or this rapper or this whatever on there. And a lot of the times it's not the creation of those people. They come on as a face of the project, but they're not the person in the engine room that are actually driving it. It's not their vision. So I think what you have unique here is that the person with somewhat of a public profile is actually the inventor of the project and the engine room. So, that's where we differ from those projects.
How long have you been thinking and working on this project? When did you get that inspiration, that aha moment?
It's been a while because it takes a long time to write a screenplay. It's a very meticulous process of redrafting. And so we've been doing that for many, many months. And that obviously that's been designed with crypto in mind. So it was always on the cards. And that was the intention for a long time. I actually, in my gold film with Zac Efron that's going around, I did a bit of a testing ground for it as well, just about how crypto and film could work. And so there's a scene on the radio with Zach and I in there where it talks about Bitcoin being at 1.2 million US dollars because my film's set in the future. And I've had a lot of people send that clip of the movie around and tweet it on social media and stuff, which is quite funny. And then I had a partnership that I did with a token that hasn't launched yet, who will launch soon. And they appear in the film, the radio broadcast, as well as the charity crypto of this world in the future in gold. So it was just a testing ground for me to go, how can you meld these two things together? And that was an easy way to do it, was to put it in the film, and it was successful. So, now I'm just taking on much more and implementing these two things together, merging them in a really crazy way, really.
And it'll just help, crypto become even more mainstream and less about, money laundering and all the weird things people say that it's about. So
yeah.
It helps us all out.
It does. And I think, the film industry is heading towards crypto anyway. Matt Damon does the ads for crypto.com. It's going there. There's no doubt about it that the film industry is going to turn to crypto and vice versa, to make a pretty special partnership. And we're just happy that we're the pioneers of this and we're first cab off the ranks. So,
even a lot of pro sports players are asking to be paid in Bitcoin and things of that nature. So it's definitely head in that direction.
So are actors. So that's the way it's going.
Yeah. Well, does anybody else have any questions? We've been on for almost an hour and a half now. Now is your time.
Okay, I really wanted to ask this question before, but I guess it skipped my mind. The project will be launching soon. So what's your plan for tax inclusion or checks to avoid dumps and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the vesting goes a long way towards that. The vesting, it's heavily vested. All the private and all the pre-sale only get 15% of the tokens on launch. A lot of projects just let people get their tokens, so that's going to help. The chart is never going to go in a straight line. It's never going to be green. We know that. You guys know that. We're not going to pretend that that's how it's going to be. There are going to be dips. There are going to be people that buy at the top and get caught out when there is a dip. and we'll be monitoring the chart to use buybacks, to make announcements, to support the chart, and that's a strategic play. And because we have utilities and partnerships that we've already been working on behind the scenes for a long time, we will use the optimum times, because there's always a big rise in the chart and then it always comes back down again. Those are the times that we'll choose to make announcements to support the chart and send it back on its way again, which is why it's really important to us to not give all the information now, and why it's really important for us to have been developing these relationships and partners already, rather than launching a token and then scrambling to find one. That's a really important part of supporting the chart.
Okay, got that. That's really a good idea.
And you're using a lot of, kind of out of the box, untraditional marketing and ways of drawing new people in. Do you plan on using the traditional avenues as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Once we've got a stable token, then obviously as we start making, getting into the game and the film financing side of it and making deals with that and casting the film and moving into pre-production, then there's a whole network of press, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, all the major film publications that will be putting this project in front of as a revolutionary new way of making films, which will bring fresh eyes to it. But it's important that we choose the right timing for that. You don't want to go out and make big public announcements before a token is solid. It needs to have been going for a few months, and it needs to have proven itself. So there's a lot of marketing that we have planned outside of these channels that we're in at the moment. But it's about choosing the right time to do that and making sure that when those new eyes come to it, they're blown away by the success of the project.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, I think we covered a lot of information.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I'm crazy bullish on your project, as you've noticed.
Thank you.
And so are a lot of people that I've talked to, and as you noticed. So, yeah, we're all really excited. So don't let me forget to make an introduction, because I want you to talk to my friend before committing.
Sure.
They have a great launch pad. They don't take any tokens. It's multi-chain. I could get into 1,000 reasons why you guys could make a great partnership, but we could talk about that in private.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So does anybody else have any questions? I know I can start talking a lot. All right. Well, then if everybody is good, I hope you have a wonderful day. And those of us that's nighttime, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And I'm really happy that I got to spend 2 AMAs with you. And, I feel like I know even more about the project now. So I'm just really excited. And I know a lot of other people are too.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support. You've been a big support to the project. And thanks to everyone for staying up late. I know it's late trying to fit in with my Australian time zone. But thanks very much. Join our channels and let's rock it.
Definitely. You have our full support, and we'll continue to make posts. And we have whitelists to give out for anybody that wants one. So it's not too late to get on those. And definitely just, we'll stay in contact. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See you at launch.
All right. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.